As an enthusiast, I understand how thrilling restoring a classic vehicle can be for the very first time. Oftentimes, there are blunders that, if not taken care of, could cost a pretty penny. Not from my experience, here are 10 errors that can negatively impact the value of your restoration project. Number 1. Skipping the research phase. The history of automobiles has shown us over and over that in order to achieve success, one must do prior research. That is the very reason why, when it comes to vintage vehicles, one should not start restoration work without first doing the involved research. It would enhance the restoration's value, but ease the journey of avoiding costly errors. It is critical that before a person lays a single hand on a car, he has already researched its history, models, making timeline, available components within the market, the vehicle's manufacturer's design, and most importantly, its purpose. Moreover, every step taken during the restoration must also be looked into. Rather than doing the appropriate research prior to engaging in the work, a good number of people believe they can modify vehicles using incorrect parts to be deemed affordable or easier. It's pivotal to evaluate and understand the marked components of the vehicle and their guidelines, as doing so guarantees authenticity of the motor car. Accomplishing vehicle-specific research is equally critical, as that will ensure an individual isn't facing hurdles from lesser-known issues that can increase expense, while effortlessly getting bypassed to major but necessary spots that need attention. Examining restoration methods is yet another crucial factor. The modern techniques differ from methods of the original work, and using the wrong ones can lead to damage that is too costly. The restoration project can be pertaining to the body or the engine and the interior. Methods that can attain the greatest result for the vehicle need to be followed. Research makes the restoration process much simpler, smoother, and it prevents a lot of problems if one is willing to do it in the beginning. The money and time needed will be conserved greatly as well. Number 2. Underestimating the costs. Restoring a vintage vehicle can be an exciting project, but one of the most common mistakes is underestimating the costs involved. One of the more fundamental blunders involves unsophisticated thinking, whereby restorer underestimates the financial implications. Most first-time restorers think that it is a straightforward affair that does not require much money. In reality, restoration attempts come with numerous unplanned costs that escalate rapidly. If this problem happens, the chances of a completely abandoned project due to lack of funds is highly likely. The expenses of restoration go beyond just the components. There are tools, labor, and other materials to account for. Furthermore, other problems might come up during the work that the scope does not initially cover. As an illustration, the project costs can increase sharply if rust or structural damage is found after the car has been disassembled. In addition, vintage automobiles often require unique components, which are more costly compared to contemporary parts and more difficult to acquire. So as to avoid underestimating costs, it is prudent to set a detailed and meticulously thought-out budget in advance. Ensure every potential expense is covered from parts, tools, and labor, including a set amount put aside for repairs that might arise. Also, if you expect to contract out some of the work, it would be a good idea to get professional estimates. By accounting for all costs in advance, financial difficulties are avoided, and the restoration project is guaranteed to proceed smoothly. Number 3. Using the wrong parts. During the restoration of a classic vehicle, one of the most harrowing errors to make is using the incorrect parts. Employing generic, off-brand, or aftermarket parts may be cost-effective, but doing so can significantly undermine both the quality and value of the restoration project. Vintage vehicles often come with specific parts that are crafted to guarantee their authenticity. Using the wrong ones may greatly compromise the integrity of the vehicle's form. It is no secret that the original parts give the best value when it comes to preserving a vehicle's historical value. Unfortunately, These components are not easy to acquire, especially for rare models, forcing many restorers to resort to aftermarket options. Although some aftermarket parts are manufactured to much higher standards, a far greater number of them are crafted with contemporary standards in mind, which will inevitably lead to issues for vintage vehicles. The wrong parts will drastically affect the vehicle's performance, including inconsistencies, the need for constant repairs, and in some instances, irreversible damage. If you can't find the original parts, aftermarket parts should also follow the original specifications. If you're in doubt, speak to a specialist or look for dedicated dealers that sell components designed for vintage restorations. Fitting the correct parts ensures the vehicle operates properly, but also maintains its value for future collectors. Number 4. Over-restoring the vehicle. Over-restoring is perhaps the most popular thing to do wrong with a vintage vehicle restoration and refers to bringing a vehicle to a condition that surpasses its original specifications. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to make the vehicle as good as new, but you'll be stripping the car of its historical value and authenticity. Classic cars come with lots of flaws and character that give a vehicle its charm, and over-restoring takes that away. Collectors and enthusiasts treasure the vehicle's craftsmanship and age. Additionally, the vehicle's wear, along with the patina that over time becomes nature's art, is highly prized as it adds a dash of history and character. You risk destroying a piece of art by turning a unique classic into a modern replica if you overhaul the car. Functioning components like the engine and suspension should be restored along with the body, but the character of the vehicle should be preserved too. Modifications should be avoided. Focus on repairs that make the vehicle safe and enhance performance as well as reliability. The trick is to make the car roadworthy while balancing authenticity to avoid transforming the vehicle into a brand new car. Number 5. Forgetting about the mechanical aspects. For those restoring a vintage vehicle, ensuring that its exterior and interior shines is important, but it should not overshadow the attention that needs to be paid towards how well the vehicle runs. For many restorers, leaving the mechanical components untouched is a common mistake that takes place when the restorer focuses on either the interior or exterior of the vehicle too much. While restoring a car to make it look as good as new is critical, ensuring the vehicle's performance and safety is equally, if not more, significant. Without addressing the mechanical repairs, there is no way to ensure your restoration endeavor is a success. The car's performance heavily depends on the engine, transmission, suspension, and brakes. These systems not receiving any repairs during restoration means the car may look exceptionally good, but it will not be safe or functional to drive. If the engine is not dependable, the vehicle will not be functional regardless of a beautiful exterior or polished interior. And if the suspension requires a lot of repairing, it will cause an unsteady ride. In many cases, restoring mechanical components is more than just a matter of washing off grease or repainting over chalked surfaces. In some instances, it involves complete overhauls or parts changes to put the car back in operating condition. For example, replacing old engine components or adding new ones, as well as modernizing the brakes, may be done to return the vehicle to operational status. Pay equal attention to the restoration from the mechanical side to achieve a level where the vehicle is fully restored and ready to roll on the road. Number 6. Rushing the process. In vintage vehicle restorations, being too quick about it tends to be a common mistake. It is often the case that vintage vehicles require a detailed project that is not only lengthy, but one that will need patience, precision, and an incredible amount of attention to detail. People are often too excited to complete the project ahead of time or want to see immediate rewards and results, which can result in poor workmanship and foolish mistakes. Rushing the project in a few weekends or methodically working through complicated parts too fast can both lower the quality of the restoration and endanger the vehicle. A hurried restoration may overlook some critical components of a service, such as cleaning parts as needed, framing, as well as checking if the reassembled parts are accurate. In the future, neglecting these measures may result in broken parts or high wearing levels. Moreover, these shortcuts have an adverse effect on the vehicle's market value. Had the restorers not misjudged the effort and time required, there would be no need for redundant add-ons or rework. A meticulous vintage automobile restoration entails a deep commitment to the specialized field, along with understanding the methodology of the process. A reasonable timetable must be adhered to while ensuring each step is methodically executed. No single part of the process should be rushed, be it taking the vehicle apart, cleaning, painting, or reassembling. Doing so will deliver optimal results. The aim is to accomplish the task in the right way, not as quick as possible. Number 7. Not having the right tools and equipment. The oversight of not having tools and equipment readily available is one of the most neglected errors when attempting to restore a vehicle. As with most restoration projects, they come with tools that most DIY enthusiasts do not have in their toolbox. Not having the right tools or using makeshift solutions can cause damage, inaccuracies, or worse, injury. With the right tools, bodywork, engine repairs, and suspension work can be done to optimal standards. When working on the engine, having the correct tools makes all the difference in function. Without proper Torx wrenches for adequate tightening of components, issues arise. Using tools not meant for the task like welders or sandblasters will create more problems than solutions. Without the right tools, components are compromised, and functioning of the vehicle becomes increasingly difficult. Obtaining precise, specialized tools is extremely important for any restoration project, and investing in high-quality tools is equally important. If tools are too expensive, consider renting or borrowing them. Learning how to use the tools properly will save you a lot of time in the long run. Using inadequate tools can damage the vehicle, which may slow down the restoration's progress and diminish the quality of your work. Number 8. Not maintaining the original patina. It's no surprise that with the rest of the vintage vehicles is the interest in turning them new. Giving an old piece a new look is not a bad approach, but in the attempt of restoring them, one must not forget to maintain the original patina, which would be a catastrophic mistake. Patina is the natural and finer grade aging a certain car undergoes with time, giving it a distinct look, suggesting the unique characteristics of the vehicle. Most car enthusiasts appreciate patina because it validates the authenticity of the vehicle and tells the tale of how it has had a rough life on the road. While most tend to think of stripping the car apart to achieve a perfect finish, they would in fact be removing the remnants of history, such as scratches, dust, and even faded colors. For classic cars, these flaws form a captivating image of the car, and for modern collectors, a vehicle's relics are worth their weight in gold. While fresh paint would make the car more appealing, effortless vintage vehicles would lose their treasures. In some instances, for authenticity, keeping the patina increases the value of the car, and collecting enthusiasts will pay the price. If the patina on the car is too damaged to be considered authentic, some repairs may be required, but try to maintain the original features as much as possible. A vehicle's originality is what makes it special, and those identifying scratches and marks tell the story of the vehicle. Number 9. Avoiding getting help from a professional, although restoration projects done as a group can be enjoyable. Going without professional help at any point in the project is an unfortunate error that can cause serious problems for the project later on. These tasks nearly always need professionals with unique skills or tools who know what they're doing, and trying to do it all by yourself may lead to more problems than solutions. Whether it be an electrical mess, complicated bodywork, body welding, or hand welding and joining, professionals do it the right way and follow regulations. If you're restoring the electrical work on a classic car, it is important to have an expert who is familiar with older wires and parts. Older models have more difference when compared to newer models, and with modern expertise, it is easy to damage delicate components. In the same manner, everyone knows welding is a skill, but work like welding needs proper tools to fix the frame and body of the car. Without these aids, the welding would be sloppy, leading to huge safety risks for the vehicle's structure. A professional will help with those complex tasks and ensure that your restoration doesn't go off track or become costly. One needs to know and understand when to bring in specialists. It is best to bring in professionals so you do not waste time, money, or effort, and make certain that the result will be great work is done at the end. Number 10. Not keeping documentation. Along with the rest of the changes, one of the significant and most common change is for not keeping proper documentation is restoring a vintage vehicle, be it working on a vintage car for sale or simply restoring a classic one for personal enjoyment. Having detailed records of all steps of the restoration is very important. Documentation not only increases the value of a car, but also proves that the work was undertaken systematically and all procedures were followed. Without proper documentation, no matter what, potential buyers or future owners might question for car detailing, and the value of the restoration will go to waste. Along with parts lists, receipts, and photographs of the work done, these documents demonstrate the care taken in performing the restoration. When you replace original parts, document what was replaced and the reasons for doing so. In fact, such honesty can add to the resale value of the vehicle. Many collectors are willing to pay top dollar for vehicles that have documented proof of restoration, having undergone all changes in limbs, body, and head. Apart from facilitating the sale, documentation allows personal record-keeping of work done on the vehicle. An accurate and detailed history of the work done increases the precision and ease of any future modifications. There is no harm in keeping service records along with restoration milestones in a single organized folder or a digital archive. That will go a long way in maintaining the vehicle history and its value. Now that you know the 10 common mistakes to avoid, you can start your restoration project with confidence. Don't forget to like, comment with your own tips, and subscribe for more expert advice on restoring vintage vehicles.